Welcome back to the Speak Your Truth podcast. I am your host, Jaya Rose. I'm a brand growth coach and I specialize in speaking, storytelling, and helping you share your sacred offer with the world to more soul fans who say yes. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about using your voice to share your mission and create a movement out of your work. And this is like, so juicy. Does that sound good to you? Because this is a topic that years ago when I was an entrepreneur and I did what I did because I loved it, but I didn't actually have a vision around my work. I didn't even have these type of conversations. So I will invite you into this conversation saying, number one, have you thought about the power of your work and how it could translate into a movement? And two, if you've already been thinking about that, then are you using your voice to share the message of your movement? And how the heck is that going for you? I want to share with you a few tips on things I teach my clients in my Embodied Brand Academy, which is all about, yes, sharing your message, your story, and creating a movement out of your work ultimately. And I want to share with you that, like I said, I was an entrepreneur for a long time before anything like this ever entered my mind. And I remember when I hired my first business coach was about 6 years ago. I had been an entrepreneur through personal training and life coaching, but I had never thought about having a personal brand. I had never thought about taking my business online. And then I never even thought about what my message was. Nothing like that. I knew how to run a business and I knew how to be with clients and how to deliver a service. But what she put me through an exercise pretty much right away. And it was a meditation, or really a visualization around being on stage. And this visualization, it walked me through getting out on stage, having the microphone, speaking out to the audience, and all of these feelings, like the expansion of the feelings that became possible by sharing a message on stage, blew me away how resonant it felt and how much I felt like I actually wanted it, but I had never known. It was really this moment of, wow, this has been inside of me, but I haven't even ever allowed myself to admit that I wanted it. And I didn't know how to put the words to it. I really do feel like it was one of those moments where everything shifted in some ways for me. And this idea of having a message, speaking that message from stage, sharing it with an audience, really embodied. It became embodied in me. And as I moved forward, of course, I didn't know exactly how to do it. I just knew that that was my vision. And I will tell you that that is the first step to having a movement. So creating a movement out of your work, what it really means to me is that people buy into more than just what they buy from you. So let me say that again. Creating a movement out of your work means that people buy into more than just what they buy from you. And that means that they buy into your vision, your message, your values, and what you see is possible for the world through your unique lens and your work. And when you have this understanding and you know that you want to create a movement, well, being on TikTok is really helpful. Being on social media is helpful because ultimately it means that you are impacting more people than just the people who work with you. So for example, I have around 14, 15 clients right now, some of them one-on-one, some of them in my Embodied Brand Academy, some of them in my Sacred Signature Offer program. Now, I want to impact them. Right? I have a methodology, I have work, I have my delivery, I am a coach, I show up. This is a facet of my business. It's the facet of my business where I make money. It's the exchange, it's the transaction and the transformation. That's super amazing. That's a business. But that's not a brand. And so when we think about the idea that creating a brand can also create a movement out of your work, it means that you are inviting people into your message and you are helping to create transformation in people's lives who aren't your clients. And this is what free content does. But a lot of times what I see is people teaching other people how to use content to sell what they sell, but forgetting the idea that you're actually selling something without selling. You're selling an idea. You're selling a message. You're selling a vision. And that is your movement. So you're moving this idea, this concept, this way of being out into the world without necessarily working with those people. I mean, how freaking cool is that? So I want you right now to ask yourself that. Remember at the beginning of this, I said, 1, are you a person who's maybe never thought of this? Like, have you ever thought of turning your vision, your story, your message into a movement with a personal brand? Maybe you already have a personal brand, but have you thought about it being a movement? And if so, then that's great. You can fine tune with these tips I'm giving you. But if you haven't even thought of it, or you've thought of it but sort of put it on the back burner, I want you to know that it is intentional. You know, I think that a movement can be born through just wanting to help people. And I've seen it happen through online brands or people writing books or people being on stage, and it can be random. But if you have a business and you know it has a message that can help people, then you can intentionally create a movement around your work. So is that what you want? Is that what you're here for? Is that the vision you have for yourself? Because like I was sharing with you about the story of me going through this meditation of being on stage and really waking up to this idea of, wow, I have something so much bigger to share, and it's going to require me to have an audience, to be in front of people, to share a message. That was a vision I had for myself. The vision that I come back to all the time is me speaking on stage in front of thousands of people who are all hungry for my message. They're deeply resonant and in alignment with my message, and they want to hear it from me. Oh, this is the vision. And I've had this vision for 5 years, and I've been on stage in front of hundreds of people. The thousands hasn't happened yet. So I continue to hold this vision. And so it comes from that we birth our action, and we birth the intention that we put into our business. So are you using your business as a vehicle to align with your vision? And if not, that's okay. But hey, here's a reminder and an invitation to do so, because it's that vision that fuels the vision you have that your work actually does. So beyond that vision, then I have an actual vision for the message I share, a vision for the work I do, and a vision for what the ripple effect that's taking place through that audience and through that connection. What is that ripple effect? That is your vision for the world. And that is the buy-in for a movement. That is what it takes to have people move based on your message, is that internal why, the internal vision, married with the ripple effect and the external vision of what becomes possible because you're willing to show up, because of your leadership and what you are sharing with the world. Ooh, it's so good. This is why I love this, because I truly believe that the change makers, the healers, the coaches, the teachers, the people who are here to create a new way of being and also build a highly sustainable and profitable business are the people who are going to change the way capitalism works, to have a footprint or an imprint rather in capitalism and create consciousness and a really positive way of being, to have businesses that give back, businesses that serve towards equity and inclusion. This is powerful. We know that the people who have the buying power have a voice. So using your voice to share your message, to share your movement vision, to share your truth ultimately is just such a powerful way to co-create with your business. You know what I mean? It's not just you just thinking of all these things and driving it, but like this is a very spiritual way of doing business. And that's why I absolutely love it and wanted to share it with you today. So now that I laid the groundwork, hopefully this is clear to you. I'm sure you've heard of movement. I'm sure you've heard of these things before. But what I want you to focus on are these fine-tuned details of, well, how do I share this? So first, like I said, we need the internal vision. Then we need the external, what becomes possible for the world because of the ripple effect vision. And then we need to understand how we're communicating it. So how to share how to spread your message and grow your movement with your voice means that we need to really fine tune our message. And this seems to be a huge sticking point. So just be honest with me for a moment. Is this something that trips you up? Do you feel like you have a very clear movement message and something that is communicating to the people who need you most? Now, if that's a sticking point, that's okay. But it does take that clarity to be able to stand on stage and speak it, to really have a clear message on your social media channels, especially on TikTok, because TikTok asks you to have clarity for a 10-second powerful message. Well, what are you going to say? So this is a point where I feel people need to put a lot of practice. And if that's where you're at, I recommend working with other coaches. I help people create their movement message, the storyline, the brand story, and really becoming clear and practiced around speaking it and being visible. If that's where you're at, reach out to me. I would love to talk about helping you with that. Also, there are a lot of people who help with this portion of your business. Don't take it lightly, because if you want to spread your message wider and, like we're talking about, create a movement out of it, we need clarity on the message. And your voice is the most powerful way to do this. So speaking, storytelling, being visible, these are such powerful vehicles to sharing that message. And then, of course, the byproduct is that you do attract more clients. You easily grow your business. And when you come from this place of power in knowing what it is you're wanting to share and why, and how it helps people and affects people, it's like you become unstoppable. And it's not as much, it doesn't have to be about, what are the exact numbers, the lead generation and how many numbers convert. And honestly, that just takes the magic out of it for me. I'm a responsible business owner, but that's not how I want to look at it. I want to look at my visibility and my ability to connect with people as a relationship. I would rather think about building relationships, whether it be on TikTok or on this podcast like I'm doing right now, or from stage, and less about, like I said, standard marketing tactics like lead generation. What if it really can be more of an invitation than lead generation? And that invitation is inviting people into your movement and these broader ideas and ways of being that create change. They create transformation in people's lives, and that's what you're sharing. And then, like I said, that leads to the transaction and the transformation. Because without the actual transaction and the transformation, you don't have a business, and you don't, in my opinion, have as much impact either. So it's just such a beautiful way of looking at it. It's just a slight twist on the ideas of how most people think about marketing or online visibility. So what I want you to do is really just feel into this. Like, I'm not giving you a bunch of steps here, but I'm giving you an idea of the broad framework. And this is what I teach in my Embodied Brand Academy. It is the vision you have for yourself, the vision you have for the world, the movement message, the stories that support it, the practice around speaking, the visibility, and then of course also then we build the business that way through sales, through launching, through the relationships. And this is what I teach in my online brand academy. And so I want to just show you that framework so that you can see, well, where do I need to work on it? Where do you need to work now and focus on? Are you in the messaging phase, in the business development phase, in the vision phase? And just to know where you are can be so helpful. And then know that every step you take is going to create clarity. It is creating clarity and just moving forward, but holding on to that vision that you have for yourself. Like I shared with you, the vision of me on stage in front of thousands of people who are deeply resonating with my message, and it's impacting them and it's creating a ripple effect. That is so valuable. So what is your vision for yourself being the movement leader? What is your vision for yourself in being the movement leader? I would love to know. Come over and find me on Instagram with Jaya Rose, with Jaya Rose. And I will have a podcast episode up on there, like this podcast. So comment under there, let me know, or screenshot this and put it in your own stories. And I would just love to know if this inspired you in any way. If you are like getting your wheels turning, you're about to create your own movement now, let me know how this affected you. And if anybody in your circle would benefit from this, share it with them, share the love. That is part of having a movement is, we share resources and it makes everything more possible for everybody. So good. So thank you for being here. Reach out to me if you want to learn more about the Embodied Brand Academy. I will be opening the doors in the summer. And so it's coming up. Actually, doors will be open in the next month. And if you want to hear more about that or get on a call with me to learn about whether or not it's a perfect next step for you, go ahead and reach out to me. And I'm just sending you so much love. Please just know that it is not just an opportunity to share your magic and your message with the world. It truly is a responsibility. And you can get paid well for it, and it can create a sustainable business too. That is the beauty of 2021. All right. So much love to you, and I'll see you next time on the Speak Your Truth podcast.